I find out?
Hello and welcome to Cracking the Vault, the podcast where we are going through every Disney theatrical release. My name is Xander.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Trevor.
Woo!
Woo! Crowd goes flippin' wild.
Hey guys, how are we feeling?
Good.
Interesting.
I agree with that. I second that one.
Yeah. That's it. I'm feeling interesting.
We're talking Bambi today, which
Is
Trevor, a little birdie tells me.
No, this is actually the first time I've ever seen this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never once have I seen this. This is the first time experiencing it since I'm 21 years
How
old.
was it?
Cool. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
I hated it. I
Okay.
absolutely despise this movie. 0 out of 5
Gunshots.
Gay little spring songs.
gay little sprees,
Aw.
little birdies.
I like gunshots.
No, and if you're listening to this, you most likely know Bambi is my fucking favorite movie. This is my most, like, any movie ever.
Lies. Bambi 2.
No, I don't like Bambi 2 is okay. I still like it because it's part of Bambi, but Bambi,
Which part? The leg, the tail, the rack,
the
venison,
The ribs.
his children. But no, I love this movie with all my freaking heart, all of it, all of the little heart I have. I love it.
We're going to talk about it, but first, Jake, today we saw
Oh, we
a
saw
little movie, not together,
not together. Same
but
time though.
at similar times.
I guess this is
Mine was at 5:30, so.
Saw a little movie called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And
So
I
good.
I want an excuse to talk about it.
I don't know this movie.
Yeah,
no.
Poor
so it's
Trevor.
a spoiler-free review,
Poor
obviously,
Trevor.
but
We're not, yeah. For the sake of Trevor, not
if
for any
anything,
fucks.
Yeah, anyone listening, okay,
Yeah.
they're just making sure I'm not spoke, so I really kind of.
we'll put it in the title. It'll be like, Cracking Bambi Across the Spider-Verse spoilers.
In the description, it's just your guys' entire thoughts about the movie and what happened.
Jake, I think you have a lot more to say about it than I do.
Yes,
So, like, go.
but I still don't know what to say. I
You
just
have
know
a
there's
gun to your
lot
head, and if
unpack.
there's a single spoiler, I will kill you.
So-
He's gonna kill you with his.
You should put a gunshot
rainbow-
in there as soon as I said so.
No. I can do whatever I want.
It's probably my favorite movie of like all time now. I'm gonna see it so many more times.
All time? Like, just
Yeah, like
first
this is
right
like
now.
my favorite movie. This scores at least within my top 3. Fantastic. It made me reflect a lot about my upbringing, because when I was going through school, like high school and stuff, my parents were very much like, you're gonna major in a STEM thing, like engineering or math. Well, I was doing like theater on the side, and so it was very much of the whole like, you can't tell me what to do type story. Without any spoilers, like what happens, but it's Miles Morales, but very much like, I'm gonna be my own person thing. And I was like, ooh, that like kind of hit home, because like I dropped out of college to be in art, to be pursue theater and stuff. Because when I even like my mom, when I was choosing a college, she was like, you're not gonna do any, like, you're not gonna major in theater. You can do anything but that.
Right.
And I was like,
And then you were
Really?
gonna major in theater and then dropped out.
I majored in communications.
Oh, you majored in communication.
And
yeah,
then
no
dropped.
wonder you dropped out of that
Yeah.
shit.
But I was like, that like it struck very, very home to me. It made me like kind of riled up.
Hell yeah.
It's also just like a fantastic movie overall.
It's so goddamn fun.
The art's
for
amazing. Once again, I mean, the first one was good. This one was like even better.
Here's what I'll say. I think it is like a fantastic movie and might rival the first one. I don't know. I still don't totally know where I stand on it, because I feel like we've only gotten half a movie.
Yes. Though it's like doing Infinity War to Endgame
Yeah.
type of like.
It can't. I'm
It's
not
It's
spoiling
known that this is a
anything.
part 1 of 2.
It's just
That is a known fact.
I haven't even watched the trailer, so I don't know that.
no. It's I feel like you might want to know this going in advance, so it doesn't affect how you rate the movie on its own. when the movie was announced, it was announced as Across the Spider-Verse
Part 1.
That was in the title.
That was the
Okay.
announcement, yeah.
Well, then never mind. I revert the gun.
So it take that bullet you shot back.
Thank you.
So, like, to be clear, there are characters who get complete arcs in the movie, and it's fantastic. It's so incredibly well done. But specifically Miles, our main character, we don't know what's going to be happening with him until a year from now. So
Yes.
I don't know. But like what we got, just on a pure like scene to scene momentum, every action scene being a goddamn banger. The animation making the first movie look like fucking trash soup. Like
Yeah.
Like the first movie is going to be remembered as like a Toy Story kind of thing, where it like clearly pioneered everything and looked so good on it. Turn your goddamn phone off, sir.
Yeah, did you know that's rude?
Take your beans.
Take your beans.
Sorry, squeaking.
But like the second movie is really going to be what is remembered, and
yeah,
it
I wish I could
so
say more
good.
about it, but yeah, it looked freaking amazing.
in
It was
so many different ways.
There's so many hot takes that I don't even know how hot the tea is because I haven't
they're
seen
not
it.
really hot takes besides his one, which I didn't really feel that way until about the end of it, which makes sense because it's where they're gonna leave the story off. But near the last 30 minutes, I was like, oh, I can feel that it's not gonna
It's
go
not
through
gonna
with
resolve.
it. Yeah.
But also, I can tell it really works as a part one, and when part two comes out, you're going to be able to watch it as one long movie, and it is going to be like a perfect 5 hour.
There's gonna be YouTubers and like people on YouTube are gonna just edit it together, so it's literally just a 4 or 5 hour long movie.
Would gladly, because like, have you ever seen Kill Bill?
I actually have not.
Kill Bill is
I've seen
so
Kill
good,
Bill.
and that's a 2-part movie, and that's something where I really wish I could get my hands on the cut where both movies are a little bit shorter because they're put together and it's like a little restructured because of certain reveals that happen in Kill Bill.
You would like Kill Bill. No, I feel like
A lot of people talk about it, and I'm like, yeah, I still have not seen it.
The first one is a perfect action movie, and then the second one is like a meditative like thing on that. It's like, all the action that was fun in the first half, now imagine we're just like, we're gonna get heavy now.
It's gonna get sad.
Anyway.
Anywho, fantastic. I really, really, really recommend it.
As if you're not
Fantastic.
gonna see it. You've probably seen it already.
Probably,
with how
when
much
this comes out,
with
yeah.
how much money this movie's gonna make, you've probably already seen it.
Oh yeah.
Bambi.
Bambi.
Based on a book by Felix Salten,
Yeah, no.
which I've never read.
I didn't know it was based on a book.
The only reason I'm
Sounds like a
bringing him
boring
up,
book.
it's
Just like in general
I
reading.
don't like reading, so I've never read it. I just know it's based off a book.
There's a reason we're movie people. It's because we don't have the attention span for books.
It's like I love like Divergent, and it's pretty much just a copy paste of the book. I have read Divergent. I read
all the Divergents.
I read that in school.
And I think I read 4 as well.
Wow,
I really wanted them to make a movie of it.
I can't make that.
I'm refraining judgment because I've never seen Divergent.
It's just like, it's like Hunger Games, one of those just like post
Which I watched those for the first time this year.
dystopian
Yeah,
things.
Hunger Games?
Yeah, I
watched-
had read the books. I had never seen the movies.
I'm gonna throw up.
I watched this year. I watched all of them back to back, from like 10 p.m. until like 4 or 5 a.m.
All
It
the
was Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games are so.
Are
Are they making another one?
They're making a
It's
prequel.
the prequel. It's got Rachel Zegler in it.
I feel like we should have bonus episodes. That's just us talking about movies.
No.
coming out.
I think this is part
is
of
the
the
chat
podcast
before
charm.
the thing. You know how it goes.
And during the thing.
And during the thing.
There's only like one good Hunger Games movie. I love the books. The only one of those movies is
What
good.
movie was good?
Catching Fire.
I agree with you.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Felix Salten, who I brought up like 5 minutes ago. I only wanted to bring him up because he wrote the books for 2 other Disney movies. One is called Perry, which
Platypus?
is Perry. No, it's like a little squirrel. It was adapted as sort of a live action documentary kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then the other one is. So he's written like 2 books about nature, right? So you get a feel for. He wrote The Shaggy Dog.
Mm.
That's weird, right? You don't know what the Shaggy
I don't know
Dog
what the
is?
Shaggy Dog is.
I bet you do know what the Shaggy Dog is.
I know the Shaggy Dog because I know the remake of the Shaggy Dog
Mm-hmm.
with Tim Allen.
That's what happened to me. Is I saw the remake and then I needed to
Yeah.
go back. So I was
Never
like, wait,
seen
hold
the
on.
original. We're gonna watch
No,
that.
I don't think I've seen Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
Either one, so.
I've seen Shaggy
It's
Dog.
literally just about a man who turns into a dog.
If you've seen that meme where the dog punches the guy in the face on TikTok, that's the Shaggy Dog. There you go. I had to put it in meme
God,
format.
Me
so
too. I know that TikTok.
I know that scene.
Ah, yes, Xander, because you scroll through TikTok every day.
I'm on TikTok
all day, every
way
day,
too often.
baby.
I've seen Trevor so many TikToks.
Yeah, there's sometimes I'll be at work and you're not at work, and I'll look at my phone. It's like 37 missed messages, and I'm like,
I get
Jesus
the same from
Christ,
Josh.
Jay.
I'll be like, I'm not responding for a day, and it's like 17 messages. I'm like, thanks, Jenny.
I'm gonna bleep this out so we don't know who the name is. But he'll know. You know who you are. The person we're talking about. Sorry, I'm trying to see how much I have.
What are you doing?
Sorry, you were talking about TikTok and you were talking about all day, every day. I want to see how many hours I have on it. Just Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, I have 7 hours and 26 minutes on TikTok.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm not addicted.
I'm gonna find mine. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, I definitely have a problem.
Incredible that you can sit through a movie without scrolling through your damn TikToks all the time.
Damn TikToks.
What do you-
I'm a person who enjoys media. TikTok is a really good media.
TikTok is the new media.
It
That's-
is.
No, it is.
We've had this conversation about
We
it.
have had this conversation
How-
before. I just think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I am too much of an old man at heart to get into it, but I think TikTok is fucking fascinating.
Oh yeah, no, it's again that's why you can scroll through it for hours upon hours because you just get so much different things,
Yeah.
and everyone's like it's the Chinese government getting information from you.
Which it is.
And-
it absolutely is.
Absolutely.
Even if that is true, what are they gonna laugh at me for doing this cool transition thing that's like look at me be this thing? What are they getting from that? I don't know.
You speak your truth, Trevor.
Well, again, it's just I mean I don't know if maybe I just haven't researched into it. I don't care.
I don't either.
Like, what are they gonna do? Ooh, he watches this kind of porn. It's like, yeah, I do. Do you want to watch it with me? What do you want to know it for? I just don't understand. Like, is people posting like, are Americans scared that like I'm posting the exact coordinates of this nuclear bomb and now the Chinese government's gonna know about it? Like,
Maybe. If anyone were to do it on accident, it would be you.
you know, yeah, I would. Like, I'd somehow know the code to get into Area 51 and accidentally post it.
Yeah.
So
Bambi,
Bambi
right?
background, they got the rights to this book. We're still in the middle of World War II. So stat I saw, 12 minutes of this movie were cut out before they reached final animation.
I didn't know about that.
Because they had to keep the costs down. Which you wouldn't know they were cutting on costs watching this movie because
No.
Jesus fucking Christ. But there's that. I don't think there's really much history I want to get into just because I don't know, we'll talk about some of it during the
During
movie.
it, yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about the history, the one guy, what's his name?
Donnie Dunnigan.
Yeah,
Don.
so I
Don.
love horror movies, and this man voiced young Bambi, and then was in Son of Frankenstein, the Tower of London, and like the man who something behind the monster, something like that. He's done a whole bunch of horror films, And that was just interesting to me because Bambi's my favorite movie, but at the same time, I love, like, hey, Bambi's my favorite movie, but I'll then turn around and go watch Saw afterwards. Like, that's the type of person I am.
He was also in the army.
He was in the army.
Got made fun of.
For being the voice of Bambi?
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, imagine going to the army and it's like, you sound like the little boy. Like this, I'm so sorry for this poor guy.
Jake.
Yes.
When's the last time you've seen Bambi? When's the first time you've seen Bambi, actually? Let's start there.
Pretty late. At least
Was he-
10
I remember-
years old.
you-
At least.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably
I-
more around 12 or 13.
I remember you saying you were very late to all these older Disney movies. I wasn't.
Just like Snow White. I saw Snow White pretty early on. I think I saw like Sleeping Beauty pretty early on. Like the VHS, some of them we had a Bambi VHS.
I do too. I still have it.
I don't think I ever watched it. At least I don't really remember.
That's the one VHS I told my mom never to throw out. We also have Lion King. She kept that for some reason.
And I think I watched it with you recently, within the past 4
Me,
years.
all three of us watched it the first time we got the TV. That was the first movie we watched.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it was. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Mhm.
But me and you, we watched it like 3 years ago, maybe.
That's
think
not
just,
recent.
But like within like
You said recently, and that's not
Not
recently.
during his childhood.
not
Yeah.
when I was younger.
So
That was-
the first time
I
you
was
saw
like-
it was about 10.
When I was like 18. It was when I watched it with you.
Okay, I was like.
Earliest I saw it was 10. Like, I just didn't really watch this one.
I remember the specific where I watched this the first time.
Oh, really?
No,
Tell me more.
I'm gonna talk a lot, so you go first, and then.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely saw this when I was younger. Like, I saw it maybe once when I was like 3 or 4. Honestly, this is like an early memory for me. Like, I remember being in a different house than the house I spent more of my childhood in
Interesting.
when I saw this movie. But I only remember like fragments from it. I saw it in full for the first time. I was maybe 8 or 9. So I was old enough to be at least semi-interested in like the craft of these things.
I was not.
And so it's very, very different brains.
I was like, the story. Which is why I don't think I watched this one, because I was just like, I don't understand, it's deer.
On an aesthetic level, I think I was kind of bowled over by this, watching it for the first time. Trevor.
Hold on, before you start. The only parts of this movie that I remember are like the well-known like clips from it. Like there's a bunch of people where I was like, I did not know this was in this movie. It was only certain like really popular stuff. Anywho, Trevor.
So, I know for a fact, I've talked to my mother about this because I remember, you know, like how memories are fuzzy when you were like really, really young?
Yeah.
I just remember like all of a sudden loving Bambi, and I was like, how the heck did this happen? Like, so I asked my mom, and so you know how like when most kids are like really, really young, they'll put on like, nowadays it's like baby sensory and stuff like that, where it's just the fruit.
Cocomelon.
Yeah, stuff like that. My mom did that with Disney. So I remember watching a lot of the older Disney movies that my mom grew up with. Because I don't know if you guys, I remember when I went through the box at my grandpa's house.
Yeah.
My mom used to live across the street from Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
She would just go, and that was when the tickets were like 15 cents.
Yeah, he had like e-ticket stuff
Yeah.
and like ticket books.
I need to show it to you because you'd be most interested when I go to my grandpa's. But like, it's just they kept all the tickets, and it's so interesting. Like I remember because I was being nosy and looking through my grandpa's stuff. And I remember
He told you to clean the attic, so.
he did tell me to clean the attic. And then I saw a Disneyland box, so I opened it and was very confused when I saw a whole bunch of tickets. And Jake was like, "I know what those are."
Yeah, we're on FaceTime.
Yeah, it's because I was bored cleaning the basement and wanted to talk to someone. Was that during COVID?
I watched too much Defunct Land and stuff. It's like I know so much about old Disney.
But so what happened? Like I know I've seen it at a younger age when I just didn't process anything more than I don't process now. When you could say anything and my brain would just be like, the crickets outside right now.
That's what I'm listening to.
Yes. But the first time I specifically remember watching Bambi, I was at my grandpa's house and I was playing in the Thomas the Tank Engine, like it was one of those like tents like that kind of like pop up by
I
itself.
had one of those.
Yeah, and it had like a little like part that we put balls into, like the like colorful like a little ball pit, And then like the beginning music started, and I don't know what it was. My brain was like, "What the fuck is that?" So I came out of the tent and was looking at the movie. I think my grandpa was watching it, because my family's a huge like Disney people, which is surprising for most people to think about if you know them. But
Except your mom.
no, my mom does make sense. But I just remember like being a child. I don't know how old. I was young enough to be able to be in a Thomas the Tank Engine ball pit and have a great time, which honestly for me could be like when I was like 11. Like it could be now, honestly.
It could be now.
And I'm 21.
We got a giant Thomas the Tank Engine tent in a big ball pit.
But I remember watching this movie, and for some reason it was the most fascinating thing. Like I don't know what it was. So I sat there and watched the entire thing. My grandpa bought me a ham sandwich and mashed potatoes. And I sat in this ball pit eating.
So specific.
I remember I had a glass, like a juice box of apple juice, a ham and cheese sandwich with mashed potatoes, but I was sitting in the Thomas the Tank Engine ball pit watching Bambi. And I was young, like I wouldn't like get emotional at movies. I cried, probably because like it was the part where I'm watching animals die and the lifeless corpses hit the ground.
You understood that at that age?
Yes, I don't know what it was, but Bambi was one of the first like stories and quotations that I understood. Like I was followed it along the entire time and watched it, and I don't know how old I was, but again, young enough to be in a ball pit with mashed potatoes.
Wild.
Yeah, no,
That's crazy.
That's again, and I know I've watched it younger, but I was a baby.
Yeah.
It was just kind of one of those things where it was like fascinating. But my mom said Bambi was the only one I never cried during.
Makes sense. I mean, some of them are very like.
This one's even intense. There's literal
There's
gunshots happening.
yeah,
you watch
but-
the main character get shot.
Which I forgot happened.
I know. I heard you shuffle around.
I was
when
like-
that happened. But yeah, that's my early Bambi experiences. Wow.
How was this one? Just as good?
So you're a big fan of this one? Wow. I never would have thought.
You never would have thought. I've never said it once.
Not once. Never.
You know how we had a I hate clowns counter? How many times have I said I love Bambi?
You can-
Well, Trevor, that's your job.
That is my job. Well, it's you know what? Everyone else.
In
do
the
it.
description of this one, can you put a
Add-
counter for how many?
When I'm editing this, I'm gonna have to listen.
Yeah.
But okay, I think we should get into
into the
Bambi.
movie.
I think we should crack the fuck out of Bambi.
Oh my God. All right. It's cracking time, boys.
It's cracking time. That's our motto, right, guys?
It's cracking
time.
That should be our thing now.
No.
Trevor,
time.
can that be our thing?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna make it our thing.
That's gonna be our thing.
You know what? It's
We'll have
2v1.
our chit chat, and then as soon as we start, it's cracking time. So the beginning of the movie.
I mean, what? It's already been a 30-minute.
God, we've been talking for so long
Yeah.
Good talk,
about
though.
nothing.
Anywho, the first thing I wrote down was super calm movie.
This is the chillest.
Like after watching Across the Spider-Verse, I was like, this is tranquil. Like it was so nice.
It's honestly like
Meditative?
meditative. There we go. Yeah. I mean,
That's
there's
a big word for Trevor.
I know there's a few big words in here, which if you know me again, this is gonna be a shock to some of you. You guys are gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? But it's just for me, yes, there's like intense parts, but even then, it's still just like a calming movie to put on.
You're riding the wave the whole
Yeah,
time.
like it's just great.
Made a note of this. I have always loved Love Is a Song. I've always loved that song.
Ah,
I
my
did not know
favorite
that song.
sweater is the green one I have. That says "Love Is a Song" with Bambi in the bottom right corner of it. That green sweater I used to wear all the time when it was cold. As soon as I got it, I think we found it at Box
I was like,
Lunch.
I think we found it, yeah.
And you were like,
yeah, we
Trevor.
did, and I bought it for you, and then you picked me up for it.
I
Because
did, yeah.
we,
Because I
it
didn't
was
have
the
any money.
like the 30th. It was like some anniversary of Bambi.
Yeah, it wasn't the 30th. I can tell you that.
I
But
don't know why it was the first one I thought of, but
Something I forgot about, just because I have the movie playing on 2x speed as we talk about it. There's a dedication to Sidney J. Franklin, and the reason that's there is because Paramount was going to make a live-action Bambi with real animals. Now, if that sounds difficult to you,
it was.
mind this didn't get made.
You're right.
I mean, they're probably gonna make a live action of this one.
They're making a live action.
Yeah,
of this one.
I think they actually announced it.
It was that and Snow White. That's like the in Moana.
In Moana, yeah.
They're running out of goddamn movies to
Little Mermaid.
remake.
That just came out.
It
Yeah.
just came out.
I
They
haven't
don't
seen
have
it.
any more of like that Renaissance stuff now. They did Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Lion King, and those are like the big
Dumbo.
Renaissance movies.
Dumbo.
Oh, Dumbo.
Lady and the Tramp.
Lady and the Tramp.
But that's not really like.
That's a no. I mean specifically like,
like,
the
Yeah,
early 90s.
early 90s, yeah.
We cannot go on a tangent about the live action. Oh God.
How many times have we done that?
We are.
Don't worry, we'll
This
get
is
there.
We keep recording these late, and it's great because we're punchy as fuck. But Jesus, we need to get going.
Yeah.
There's that long tracking shot at the beginning.
Opening song was super pretty.
There was a song, yeah, we were just talking
Yeah.
about one of my
So good.
favorite songs. And again, it's just so calming watching all the scenery pass by before it even gets to like the main part of all the animals you first see. Because it's been like, I don't know, like 2 minutes before you even see like the first animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a long shot.
It's
There
so pretty.
was 2 notes in there for the that long shot. And they're both water.
Oh, yeah.
The waterfall in the opening was a 7 out of 10. That was it. I didn't comment on it. Then the river in the opening was a 5 out of 10. It was a cool color, like it was pretty, but it felt like stuttery. So
Felt stuttery.
yeah,
That's interesting.
I was like, yeah, I don't really like that. So that was it was a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, but it slowly like fades through. You get to see all these cool animals, which again, the animators for this really studied their animals.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
so much of the process of this movie was them studying the animals
Mhm.
because before I think this is their words, they described the animals as like little flour bags in the other movies. And
Yeah.
now they like the physiology of these
Watching-
animals, the behavior.
Watching the behavior of just like sometimes this movie has like pure just music and you're just watching like an animal be like.
There was one with 2 chicks who were fighting over like this berry thing, and then a third like bird
Oh,
comes
yeah,
up and I said,
bird.
"Me, I'm the third baby bird."
Yeah.
And then I said K. I don't know why, but I just said K.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you why. It was
Um,
before the word congratulations. I can tell you that.
So after like the first words uttered are from Thumper in this movie, and I just said these kid actors in this are so good for their like. I know it's just kids like here say this line.
Yeah.
But still for some reason it just sounds so like
Thumper had like
natural.
I don't know why, but some of the words he said had like a weird accent to them. It was very kind of funky.
Can you think of an example?
There was one when Bambi doesn't make it over the trunk, the fallen log. He says a word when he's up on the log with him that just was not like how you normally say the word in
Trevor, you know
our
this
dialect.
movie by heart.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think. It's something like you gotta jump over it.
It was right after
Guess
that.
you didn't jump far enough.
Yeah.
It was
That might be
something in
it.
those lines, but I was like that was a
Interesting.
weird.
I may
Word.
just be like the child they used.
Who was not a professional actor.
No.
And apparently at the auditions, this is all knowledge I saw years ago on a Disney DVD. Those were my Bible as a child. I studied them religiously. I watched some of those special features more than the actual movies.
There's quite a few from where I did that too. It was just like more interesting. I was like, ooh, I like this.
Finding Nemo is the big one for me. I credit Finding Nemo to like making me want to be a filmmaker.
Interesting.
Because they had a commentary for it, but it was a visual commentary, so you'd be listening to it.
Oh my
and
god,
every,
you just
like,
awoken a memory. I remember watching
every like
this.
minute it would cut to like a little behind the scenes
Yeah.
featurette
I
about
think
something happening.
There was one for one of the Toy Stories that was like that.
That was like that?
Or one of the Monster Inc. somewhere in that range. There was one movie that had one that I watched a lot.
That Pixar activation.
Yeah, I was like, I just think I was watching this when I was like 13 because I was like, I love the behind the scenes. Like I love knowing what's going on, versus just like, okay, I've seen the story 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked watching this.
Yeah.
No way.
So I said the kid actors are amazing, and then my next thing is literally this is why I'm a mother's boy, and so like I said in Dumbo? Yes, like I said in Dumbo, the way Bambi's mom talks to him, like how a lot of the like just like mothers or just like a lot of the animals in this talk so comfortingly. So that's a big word for Elmo.
I noted. I feel like if I looked up generic mother voice, Bambi's mom's voice would be the first result.
And that's the
like it's just like
It's perfect.
mom.
and
It just like gives mom.
that's all of the like
all the mom ones.
All of the mom characters, they all speak in this like comforting tone, and that's just like something that's attached to me since I was a kid. It's just like I love how they speak to Bambi, because it's not like a puppy. It's like you good bud. Like it's not like over
like baby talk.
It's just like their speech is letting you know you're in a safe place, and I love that. Like the first like things like when Bambi's mom was like, it's okay, time to sleep, and then the owl's getting everyone out, like just the way she speaks, I'm like,
that's when I wrote that note.
Yeah.
For the generic voice.
It could be very easy for this movie to be, because they're so interested in like the behavior of the animals, it could be so easy for this movie to be kind of clinical.
Mm-hmm.
And the warmth of the mother character in this is like, it keeps that from happening.
Yeah.
Like she is the heart of the movie.
And that's what makes it so distressing when, spoiler guys, if you've never seen this movie, when she gets shot.
Jake, did you know the mother died?
Yes, I know the mother dies.
When you first saw this.
I think so. Like it wasn't like a surprise to me.
Okay.
It was never like a big shock factor of like, what?
There's an interesting tension that lends the movie, like when you're seeing it for the first time, because you already know the mother's going to die, and so the entire movie, every scene, you're just like, is this the scene?
That was what I was doing with this one. I was like,
you've done that every time.
I said,
the
a
first,
Lion King moment.
The foreshadowing
almost.
part. The foreshadowing part, everyone's like, this is when she dies. I'm like, no, you need to wait until winter. But that's just because I'm obsessed with this movie.
Yeah. You were talking about things that like surprised you like the first time. Toy Story 2 when Zurg is Buzz's dad. Well, it's like when that was revealed, I remember being shocked because I knew Star Wars and I was like, it's Luke and Vader. Oh my god! And it was.
I imagine you sitting
on the couch
with like a bag of like Smart Pop, and you're just sitting there with like
probably my Buzz Lightyear costume.
I thought you were going to say you didn't know the Star Wars twist.
No,
and so you.
No, I didn't know that.
No, not Buzz.
No, that there is like I knew about the twist, and so when it happened, I was like, no way, it's Luke and Vader.
It was so funny.
It was amazing to me. It was so surprising. But then this one, I was just like, oh.
So
yeah,
I don't
she
know.
dies.
I don't know why I said it, but I said the lighting in the forest is 10 out of 10. And I know exactly why. It's when after the entire mom thing happens and it kind of like pans up to the Prince of the Forest, Bambi's dad.
Oh, God.
Just the lighting in this movie, of like how they were like, not only did they like simulate forest look, animal behavior, but like just how lighting is reacting to things. They studied for this movie. They like.
No, it looks.
Like there's again
fantastic.
Just the amount of times where it's just a still shot of like the scenery before the character walks on screen is one of my favorite things. Is like someone who made this poured their heart and soul into it. Like
it's the same thing. It's interesting because Across the Spider-Verse looks freaking amazing, but so does this, which is so very different.
Yeah.
It's just.
But
it's an interesting spectrum.
It's the same principles of like lighting and framing and.
Yes.
Like that moment with the prince is like kind of a haunting moment.
Yeah.
He's just in the distance above everything.
It's because you don't even know who he is at first. You're just like, who's that deer standing in the background having God behind him?
Yeah.
Like
my first thought when watching this, I was like, oh, is that Dad? I was like, oh my god.
Dad.
Like, is he? He's the big guy.
I wrote this down a few times, but one of my favorite things about like the dad is anytime he comes on screen, like at first, silent, not a single.
Majestic.
It's like there's no sounds, there's no anything, there's no music. It is just silent, and it's one of my favorite things in this movie because every time that it'll stay there for like I think at longest like 3 seconds and then go into like some sort of song and whatever the emotion is.
Yeah.
Which is I love Disney for. I love how they can emulate emotion through song. And again, this is not the first movie that did that. It's just in this movie to me, it's a lot more prominent than a lot of other movies I've seen.
It's a very 40s thing how dysfunctional the relationship with the dad is.
Yes, it
Like-
is.
Like the mother, it's this beautiful, beautiful story. And then with the dad, it's like, I see him occasionally.
He's around.
We don't say much. The prince is born, and
Prince is born. And they all make fun of him.
They do, and he.
Thumper's like, ha ha, look at him.
How much older is Thumper from Bambi? Trevor's conspiracy theories.
Yes.
That's the theme music.
Yeah, there we go. But like I'm interested because like when they grow up and everything, they're like almost the exact same age.
Yeah.
Like it feels that way.
But when they're younger, it feels like Thumper's been on this like not forever because he's still learning things, but like
He knows a lot.
he knows a lot for
He knows a thing or two because he's
seen a thing or
Yeah.
two. But like he already knows how to speak and everything, and for Bambi, I think it took like a few months.
Maybe Thumper's like not actually that much older than Bambi. Like he's like a month older. But
He just
it's
learned how to
years
talk,
since
yeah.
then.
When they get older, the voice actor for older Thumper, I could not tell how old he was. I was like, he's either like in his 20s or in his like 40s. And there were times where I was like, that was weird. So I don't know how old the guy who voiced him is or how old Thumper is then.
It's kind of off-putting how much you cannot tell how old like the
It's just
actors
like
are.
they're in age.
Yeah, but they all go through the forest, all Bambi being all like, what the heck's happening? Like, I think it's really funny when all the bunnies are hopping around him and he's like, what the shit is happening?
That's where the
When-
most... Oh, go ahead.
When the owl was shooing all the ones away, there was the chipmunk was just staring, and I just wrote, that chipmunk is Trevor.
Yeah, that would be
He
me.
was just like,
He was just like, I'm so interested, and he's like, what the fuck? I'm getting stabbed.
yeah, that was.
Bambi saying bird is the cutest
Bird.
thing.
I wrote burr in lowercase ... Burr.
He tried so hard, and he's like, burr, and they're like, no, and he's like, burr.
And then I wrote, he kind of dumb.
Again, he's learning. It's like
This movie captures animal behavior so well. It also captures like kid behavior.
kid behavior.
So well.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many times I say like, who are these kids? Because I know it's just them sitting in a room with a producer going, these 3 words, say it. But still, like, just how like when they're laughing, I know a guy probably just tickled them or something, but like it is so genuine to me, and I don't know like if I'm the only one who hears it, but
The performances are super genuine.
Yeah.
And then you have stuff like Thumper like being like very rude in the way a kid is.
would.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
no, eat this, you're wrong, and then his mom being like, sir, and he's like, I'm sorry,
He
mom.
doesn't walk very good, does he? It's like, well, I mean, the kid's not wrong. You can't be that mad at him.
Yeah. But when they first said, when Thumper was like, what are you going to call him? And she said Bambi, Trevor just went,
Listen,
so I just wrote, they said it. They said the name.
Listen, all I imagine is like I'm gonna call him Bambi. There's like the like no scope sounds, like blow horns, like, like I don't know why that's the first thing that comes into my head.
And
when
then Thumper was like, I guess that's all right. And I just wrote, why Thumper gotta have an opinion on the name? Like, why is he like, I guess it's
But again,
okay.
like Xander was saying, that is something a kid would do.
Yes.
That is absolutely something.
Yes.
It's like, hey, I'm naming my child Jake, and someone would come out. It's like, yeah, I guess that's okay, and then like walk away.
it is a very
like that.
little
That's
kid thing.
that's a very little kid thing to do.
And then when they're like when they're meeting Flower, he's like coming out and he's strutting.
Well,
Baby's like,
Flower definitely is coming out.
There's so
Baby
many-
was strutting.
I remember watching this, like, consciously watching this movie for the first time and being so thrown off when I found out Flower was a man.
That was me. For some reason I thought he was a girl, and then I was like, no wait, he's a
It's-
guy, and I was like, oh my,
It's
happy
like
Pride Month.
yeah, happy Pride Month. Good we watch this in June, guys. But no, it's like I remember as a kid, whoever the little boy actor is that is it just has a very feminine voice.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm sure I'm not like there's no way we're the only people that did that. Like
I think
No.
most people probably thought Bambi was a girl.
a
watching
lot
this
of
as a kid.
so one of my favorite things if you ever look up anything Bambi, it's a lot of like what is Bambi's gender, which is funny to me because I'm like just watch the rest of the movie and you'll find out in about 20
I
minutes.
don't know why I thought you were going to bring up Bambi Rule 34.
So because we
No.
did, I have sent you that just to fuck with you.
Yes, I know, and I still have them on my phone.
Yeah, I could find them. I thought about it
Don't look up.
when I
like,
saw the older Bambi. I was like,
There's so many photos that have been burnt
Rule
into my,
34.
the internet, guys. Don't use it.
Yeah, except to listen to this.
Yeah, you can only use the internet to listen to this podcast, and that's it.
Selfish pro.
Yeah, so, and then it goes into my favorite song in this fucking
Lonely
movie,
Showers?
April Showers.
We have
Oh
it
my
on our
God.
Disney playlist. When it comes on, Trevor's like, the
This-
April Showers.
This is a song that will drive me to tears just hearing it. I love this song. I love it. So in all caps, I said April Showers is the best song, and you can fight me about it. It is the best song. I love how it looks. When you see the mouse, it's the cutest fucking thing.
When we were watching it, Trevor did the little thing with the mouse.
The little washing his face. I know
It
this
was
movie.
so funny.
I know this movie so well. So freaking well. This, like, just the little quirks of each animal, because you know someone had to look at whatever that mouse was called and study it to see what it would do with water.
And then made it like have a character.
That's
like
what I love.
that's the big part.
Yeah, is they
It's not like just a mouse.
they studied the animal but made the animal still have like cartoon characteristics
Yeah.
to like make it interesting.
Make them more appealing.
Yeah.
A note I took was that I feel like the April Showers scene is kind of like a little story in itself in the most
Yeah.
abstract way, but it has like, it has its first act where it's setting everything up, and then you have escalation because there's more rain, and then you have like
Lightning.
the key changes in the song, and then you hit your darkest point when the winds pick up. And then you have your third act where everyone bounces back from the end of the second act, and
Yeah.
it's
I don't know if you had any water notes.
No,
from
I did.
this. Okay.
The lake water, which is just like all the lake water that was in the sequence. It was a 9 out of 10, which I think is my highest rating yet. No, it's not.
You've had
There's
a 10 out
one-
of 10.
There's one on here as well.
Okay.
It's right after this. It said it was super pretty and reflective. Like there was another water one in here that we'll get to, that was too reflective. It just looked like a mirror, which didn't work. But this one was like, it looked like it
Are
was
you
on
talking
the
about the
sunrise.
end of the song?
Yeah, on the sunrise.
The end of the song, that's what I was going to say. That is my favorite. I don't make water notes. That's your thing. I don't make water notes on purpose because you do it. I made a water note. I know I'm going into area that I could get shot in
I
for
think I
going.
have a conspiracy in here, so.
Oh, okay. So, well, but
real quick, I just want to shout out the background artist of this movie because
Yes.
I'm at that scene.
Oh.
So a big problem they ran into making this movie was that because it's a forest, the backgrounds would get like over detailed, and your eye would just get caught in like
Trees.
leaves and trees. And so this Asian American artist named Tyrus Wong, who was like in the in-betweening section of the studio, in-betweening being like when it's all of the frames in between the keyframes of animation. In-betweening is the most boring work in all of the studio. So his background drawings got found by the higher ups, and they needed someone to like figure out the backgrounds on this, and his were very abstract and very impressionist, and it's more like the feeling of a forest than actually trying to capture the detail of it. And so that's how he like moved up in the company, and it looks so good. I think the backgrounds are like the reason this movie works, and like that is it's so important to this movie functioning.
The backgrounds are beautiful.
Right after the sunrise, there's rain that's going down, reflecting in it. I just wrote piss rain. Because it was yellow.
Well, I know what you're talking about. It's because that's the one part where they use like genuine water.
It was just like yellow.
They weren't
and I was
drawing it. That's the one part
like,
where
it
they
was
used.
piss rain.
It was because they were trying to reflect it to match the forest, and I know what you mean.
Well, the
Because
sky is yellow.
Yeah, it was because it was reflecting the sky, and I was just like, that's piss.
of course that's what you thought, but like
And last one for this scene, the pond. After the piss rain, there's the pond at the very, very end.
where it shows the reflection.
10 out of 10, absolutely breathtaking, nice golden yellow reflection.
That's the one thing I love, that it shows the like sun rising and the last
and the water
like
drops in it.
the like last water droplets to the music hit it in time, and you see the ripples and then it fades. Is one of
That
my
was a true water score.
There's a lot of transitions in this movie that I love. And that's one of them, because I love how it goes from like that bright sunrise to like a misty, the meadows. The first time you see the meadows, where it's like a misty, creepy gray.
On the way to the meadows, there was a waterfall. That was an 8 out of 10. It looked pretty realistic, like the way the water was coming off the rocks. It looked pretty realistic and it looked good.
Yeah, that was cool. Where are
Meadow.
we? Yes, we're in the meadow.
Which is immediately introduced as such a threatening.
Yes.
That's the meadow. I feel like is one of my favorite moments of foreshadowing in the first one. Like when you first see it, it's like, this is an ominous place. You should be scared of this.
When he's just like
See
about to
the
rush out.
undertow, we say, let's go.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it's heck no.
His mother jumping in front of him, being like, "You will die," is the scariest thing to hear, especially from your mom.
Yeah.
Imagine you walking out to a Ferris wheel and your mom jumps in front of you and says, "You will die if you ride this." It's like,
terrifying.
okay, fuck.
Because she so rarely like raises her tone.
Yeah.
And just a little side tangent. Because I said this and I should add it. So Bambi's mom, her name's Paula Winslow. She was in a short film called No Hunting, and I just think that's isn't it ironic? I can't sing that, but you know it. I just thought.
Does she die in that one too?
I haven't looked up No Hunting. I thought it was funny because I looked up the actress for the one literally called Bambi's mom, because she doesn't have a name, and she was in a short film. She's done Bambi, like co-starred in like 2 other shows, and then the only other film she's done is called No Hunting. And I just think that's really funny because she did Bambi first.
That's funny. So in the meadow, there was another water score. It was when the ducklings. It's when we first see the water in the meadow. There was ducklings. 7 out
this is
of
in
10. It
April
was a pretty
showers,
color,
yeah.
but it looked kind of flat.
That's
that was the meadow. Is when we get into the meadow.
Yes, when we get into that. Oh, yeah.
It's the first water we see in the meadow.
Yeah. So then we go into like seeing all the animals do their meadow things. The Thumper bit was funny.
I said the frame of Thumper getting caught was absolutely hilarious.
Anytime he gets caught is so funny to me.
It just like freeze frame his face is freaking funny.
But yeah, so this is when we get to see Faline for the first time.
How do you pronounce that?
Faline, is that not how you say it?
Faline.
Faline.
This is when we see Fallen for the first time.
Falling for you.
With this one, when Bambi was like meeting Faline or Faline, whatever. I wanted to say Faline.
Look at you go.
I said bro scared a woman. Same.
Bro's got a
Faline's kind of a great character, cause like she always kind of has one up on Bambi throughout the entire movie. She's always kind of got the upper hand, even when they're adults.
Yes.
They were playing around after like he says hi and he just goes hello, which was so funny.
Yeah.
Because the last time we heard him talk, he had like the child voice and hello.
Because he was like, oh.
It was just so deep, and I was like, oh.
He was like, ew.
He's older.
When they like start running around, I love the moment when the moms are just standing there and do not give a shit.
They're letting the kids be kids.
There was a water score when she fell into the water. It was a 7 out of 10. That says 20. It's supposed to be a 10.
Bambi fell into the water.
No.
you know.
No. Oh, it was, yeah. I thought it was the other way around. I was like half watching.
This is one of my favorite scenes is when Bambi goes into a little patch with all the grass around it, and she's just popping out, pecking him on the cheek, and he just goes, "You."
I said it was a 7 out of 10. It was too reflective, but was still like a pretty color. But that was I was like, it just looks like a mirror. It wasn't very good. Oh, then he got angry, and I said I like angry Bambi. He's funny.
Yeah,
his eyebrows.
You. It's one of my favorite little look at him be grumpy. He's feeling anger for the first time.
There was another female deer water. I don't know what one it was. It was
female deer water.
It was with one of the female deers. I couldn't tell you. It was like murky, but it made sense because it was like in a little behind a bush.
Oh, when the mom drinks water.
I think so.
The muddy water.
Yeah, it was like the right amount of this feels like just in a patch of dirt.
Yeah.
So that was a 7 out of 10 as well.
So after they play around a little bit, this is when we see all the men doing their men things.
They're so bouncy.
That sounds like Rise of the Valkyries.
Rise of the Valkyries, yeah.
And then we meet Mr. Daddy.
The Great Prince. Is he the Great Prince because he's old? Is that
It's the entire point is he's the oldest and wisest and he knows more. He's lived. No one's lived as long as he has.
But he's also not too old to fuck because he's.
Yeah, no,
Man's getting around.
Man gets
in his old age.
The prince gets around.
It's like when you hear of some 90-year-old impregnating someone. It's like you could still do that.
You're still doing that?
You're still doing that.
He meets Bambi, looks at him, and his ears just go.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't like him ears turning.
Well, that's what deers do.
Yeah,
that's the cool thing.
It was
it's just
silent. It was just
it's the deer in the headlight, and all they do is that. Like I said, anytime he comes on screen, when he was on screen for the first time, not a single sound. And then it started doing the do as he walked through. But it's the scariest thing because every time he's seen, it's just silent, no sound.
There was a quote you said. You said, "Yeah, deer are cool." And so I had to write that down.
I don't even remember that. But this is when I talked a lot about the lighting in this. The entire stampede part where they're all going through.
I said that's where I said Lion King moment.
Yeah, I love the they do that a lot in this movie where it's the vibe of it's you can still see it's their body but they're there's color on their back and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do this a lot in this movie and I love it. It sets the scene so much. In the stampede, it's all the orange lights as they're jumping through, and I'm like, that looks so cool. And it looks terrifying, being the tiny deer you are watching all these huge deer jump over you. It's giving this illusion of so frightening, but at the same time intriguing.
Yeah. I think next is when we first meet Man.
Yes.
And I just said
referred to as he in the book.
He.
That's the only thing I know about the book.
Oh. All I said was fuck man. I was like
fuck man.
And then I say it again later as well.
Because this is when they're just danger, people run. He's what the fuck. And this is when most people think Baby's mom dies because it's the gunshot.
And
then you see him go off screen and then which no, it's foreshadowing. It is not death yet.
Yeah. Again, if you're watching this for the first time, it's got to be crazy having that meta narrative to it where it's oh god, I thought that was gonna be when.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we get to fall. With all the leaves changing.
Which I wonder if that's where some of the stuff that was cut out is. Because
it's very short.
We don't experience fall in this movie.
No, he just kind of.
There was water in the fall section, and it was an 8 out of 10, very pretty. And then I said time is weird in this movie because all of a sudden he had the antlers, and I was like. How long has it been?
Does he have little baby antlers?
Yeah, you're jumping ahead. We still have to go through winter.
Gotta go through winter.
Oh yeah.
I was like, he doesn't have.
Oh no, it was just the seasons changing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it's already, it went from fall straight to winter.
Yeah, it's again. I think what Xander was saying. I think that's where they cut it. I think they had a lot more because if you realize all the other seasons have a little chunk to them.
Yeah.
I think fall was just kind of they kind of got the transition chunks just to get that piece in there. And then kind of cut out anything they were going to do. Probably something with Thumper and them again. But but we still get the winter scene, which is one of my favorites because when it's like
Square hole. When he hits his hoof
hoof.
into the snow at first, it's.
Were you gonna say paw?
I was going to say paw. It was just a square when he first put it in, so just square hole.
Yeah, it's like Thumper and Bambi on the ice is one of my favorite scenes in this movie. I think it's just so cute.
It is. It's really.
Where it's
cute.
like, you're a little wobbly, aren't you? It's like, yes, he's on ice for the first time.
Can I say something that's probably gonna make you want to throw something at me?
Yeah. Hold on. Can I wait, before you say it. This is heavy enough. Go ahead.
I don't know if I love the ice skating scene.
Oh, no, it's okay. No, that's fine. Out of all scenes to not like, that's okay. I feel like that's kind of like filler, like, hey, look at them be on ice.
Yeah, it's like,
Bambi
it's
on
lacking
ice?
some of the behavioral stuff that I find so compelling about this movie. It's
Mhm.
just kind of like watching a cartoon in that moment.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't.
very Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have like the kids like being kids. It just kind of has like a Peter Pan, here we go, and then they're going.
It's just gags.
Yeah.
It's just jokes, pretty much.
Like, it's funny to see them start sliding full speed into a mound of
oh,
snow.
yeah, that's the good shit.
And, like,
that is.
Thumper's
hype
just
script.
screaming as he can't stop it. Like, that's hilarious. But it's just watching like Tom and Jerry.
There was one point where we said winter's like half of the year, and I had to write that down because it's so true where we live.
Well, okay, yeah, no.
Where
especially-
winter is literally half of the year.
It's the part where Bambi's sitting there, like, they go through the entire scenes where it's like, they're going through food, they can't reach the food, they just have to, like, they're going off scraps right now. And Bambi's just sitting there and he's
Just like our last winter.
yeah, just like our last winter, where Bambi just sits here and goes, winter sure is long, isn't it? And then I just looked at the screen and went, yes it is, Bambi, yes it is.
It's like half the year.
Because I remember when we spent winter here and we're just like, it's still going. It's still...
In like April, it was still fucking snowing. It's like, why?
Yeah.
And then I think next after winter is the moment.
Is the meadow scene
It's the moment.
It's when they find spring grass and Bambi's really excited, and then they're eating the spring grass and Bambi's mom is just like, hold up, something's wrong, Bambi run. And it makes me really sad. There's a lot of me just crying emojis in this because it makes me really sad.
It's really well done. Like,
Oh.
as much as it gets memed on, it's an incredibly well done sequence.
It's
Yes.
one of the, you get to know that, like, for how long the beginning is, you get to love this mother. Like, this mother is doing the best for her kid. Like, you watch her literally go up onto a tree feeding her child because that's the only food left and she would rather give it to him than her.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you just, like, every time, like I said before, the mother is caring for him, speaking in such a way where it's like, I love you, and then all of a sudden, like, and it does it the first time. So if you're watching this for the first time, you're probably just like, oh, it'll be fine again. And then again, it cuts to Bambi running into their little like hut and going like, Mom, we made it. Mom. And I said, Bambi calling for his mom still makes me cry. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't saying anything when we were watching it because I literally had tears in my eyes when I was watching it just however long ago.
You know what's kind of crazy?
Huh.
It's kind of crazy they never showed the body.
They show the bodies of like, yeah,
Of
that's...
the bird and stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't show Bambi's.
Do you think it's just because that would be too much?
I think so.
I think so. Because even just like
Because Bambi is so young.
Yeah.
watching...
Like, it'd be a little too.
I mean, they did it with Lion King.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
He was a...
You see Mufasa's body in Lion King.
Yes.
It's pretty much almost the exact same thing too.
And yet, for some reason, I'm more emotionally moved by Bambi than Lion King.
I am opposite. Mine's Lion
Well,
King.
again, it's one of those things for like Bambi where, again, he goes out and he in the snowstorm he's looking for his mom, and all of a sudden this like his dad deer comes up and is like, your mom can't be with you anymore. I feel like that's more distraughting than just knowing and seeing the body, so you know, okay, I can't see my mom, instead of someone just coming up to you and saying your mom's never gonna be with you again.
Sure.
That like for a little
Yeah.
kid doing that leaves so much to your imagination to like what happened, what do you mean?
Come.
Stop it.
When that line was said, I thought of a funny joke that I won't say, and I just exhaled through my nose, and Trevor just went, Jake, I hate you.
Well, cause
And I took a video because I was trying to catch a reaction for Bambi's mom death, and I just had it recording, and you just turned around and went,
I didn't know.
I have
Were
it
you,
on
were you
video.
recording? That's so. No, don't show it now. I'll show it.
Well, yeah, we'll show it after this.
Show it
but
after. That's so funny though.
it was so good.
But yeah.
Yeah, just continuing that like weirdly dysfunctional relationship.
This is when I say the silence of the movie. Every time the dad
The
when
stag.
sorry yeah the dad comes on, and when you first see the dad,
Saggy.
when you look through the snow and you see the dad, it goes silent again. And every time this dad comes on screen, it's always silent. And let me tell you, after the mom died and you have the silence, and then he goes, your mom, like, what is it? Your mom can't be with you anymore or something?
Yeah.
That hurts. Like, watching the one tear out of Bambi's eye.
Yeah, that was pretty...
Absolute tears. Like...
So that happens.
And then
the most abrupt transition in cinema history
The
happens.
springtime.
Little gay song. Little gay birds.
Sing a gay little spring song.
There was a pond water in this song. It was an 8 out of 10. There was no
8 out of 10 pond water.
And then
Solid fucking water.
the owl talking about the song, and I said so my mom in the morning sometimes, sorry mom, I'm outing you, will just like play like music like on her phone throughout the house, and sometimes it'll be like the same like 6 songs. And I was like, Owl in Spring is me with my mom in the morning. It was this morning.
Does your mother listen to this podcast?
I don't think so.
Really?
Okay.
So.
I don't think so. But this morning it was Love Is Gone, which is a song I sang recently. It's on my mom's TikTok.
Yes, it is.
And she listened to it like at least 9 times this morning. Like every 2 songs that come back on, and I was like, oh my god. Sorry for introducing the song to you.
Tweet. That's you just sit in your room like, oh my god.
No, I end up singing along with it at the end. I was like, yeah. I was like, he is me.
This is when we first find out that Flower is a man.
And I said, Flower gay. So gay. Because he just goes...
I think they acknowledge it in the movie because their entire part where the owl's like, you're gonna get Twitter-pated.
He reminded
Yes, even you.
Flower reminded me of... He died recently. Leslie... Or... He was a super gay actor.
Oh, yeah.
He reminds me of a lot of him. With his like...
What's his name? Leslie... What are you talking about?
Yes.
I don't.
He sings country songs.
He was like super flamboyant, super gay, and was like... He got really old.
Wow, everyone's going to hate us who listens to this podcast because he's so iconic. Leslie... I'm waiting for Jake to Google it. Leslie Jordan. That doesn't sound right. Leslie Jordan. Who the fuck is that?
I don't know.
He was on Drag Race. RuPaul.
I mean, that's why you know who it is.
Yes.
I know him from...
I know him from other
shows.
things too, yeah. Hold on, this is very important. We cannot continue.
No, I need to...
Leslie Jordan, I was right.
Was it?
It's Leslie Jordan.
I didn't...
Him.
Yes, it is him.
It is Leslie Jordan.
Okay.
It sounded
Yes.
correct, but I didn't want to believe it was
But
that.
it makes sense why you
But
would
he reminded me
think
a
that's
lot of him.
A Flower?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Flower reminded a lot of him, but...
So this is when all of the Flower and Thumper get Twitter-pated, and... Twitter-pated, and Bambi's like, where you guys go? Oh, that's not gonna happen to me.
There was an owl song about getting Twitter-pated. I did not know was in this movie.
An owl song?
That's the one where he's speaking it, but it's like...
It's not
in the
really
rhyme
a
of the
song.
No.
He's speaking like in rhythm, though. There's parts where he's speaking in rhythm, so I called it a
It's
song.
an unrhyming
There's like
poem.
music behind it, and...
There's music behind it, but it's an unrhyming poem, and
I needed to write songs so I knew what I was talking about.
But yeah, again,
But-
he did that before. He told them about getting Twitter-pated, and all of
I
them
didn't
were
know
like,
that was a song.
all of them were like, that's not gonna happen to me. They all walk off, and it all happens to them.
Flower meets a woman. I said, bro's never encountered a woman. He's like, taken aback. He's like, oh my god. And then I said, bisexual king.
Yeah.
He is.
I was like, okay.
He is.
I think he was gay until that moment.
He was like, a woman? That was Trevor. He was straight until men.
Oh, I was gonna say woman. I was like,
Opposite.
never done that once in my life. But yeah, so they all get Twitter-pated. There are funny bits between there, and
The animation gets really cartoony at this part.
There's
Yeah,
a part where
it
Thumper gets
goes-
caught again, and it's freaking hilarious.
Yes.
Once again.
So
It's like mid-jump.
one of my favorite things is when a teenage Bambi, it's not adult yet, a young adult
No,
Bambi,
It's adult Bambi.
he's almost there.
He's basically there.
He's
like 18 in Deer.
yeah,
18, 19,
young,
something
young,
like that,
young, which it's,
Young adult.
it's longer than most deers live, I guess, because they live for 6 years according to the Google.
Up to 22.
Up to 22.
Which must be where the Great Prince is at.
Or at least close, because he was alive through Bambi's life, so I'm gonna assume he was like 20.
He was 20, yeah.
And she was what?
One.
Oh my god, no.
I was gonna say like 6.
That's how long they live.
Like she was getting like pretty close
She
to
was, like,
like
4.
her like normal age. Like
This is so weird to talk about.
yeah, let's stop.
Dear, we're gonna specifically.
All these men falling for hoes. That's what I wrote.
Yes, they
I
do
was like,
fall for
they be-
hoes.
Bitches and hoes.
So what? But even
Bro was flabbergasted.
even though they get very cartoony in this, flabbergasted. Bro was flabbergasted. Thumper had like also I guess have never encountered a woman because he was like what?
But his just more just like, oh my god. Like Thumper, I mean, Flower seemed like scared almost. While he was just like, oh.
Yeah. So one of my favorite parts in this movie was when yes it's cartoony but I love when it just takes it over the top, and like Bambi and
Faline.
I almost said Fallen again, but not Falling.
Fallen.
But yeah, Faline, and they just like it's so funny where it's like I think she kisses him on the cheek, licks him on the cheek, and it's just like clouds, I'm in heaven. It's one of my favorite things. It's just so cute where he's like jumping around so happy. Also, they've just never seen women
Ever.
ever, even though they have, because Thumper had a whole bunch of sisters. I don't know about
Yeah.
Flower. Flower obviously hasn't.
No.
Never seen Flowers.
Also, the spring there was after the Thumper love scene after they're like vibrating and like turns away. There was that's what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, you're not right.
It's just, like, I didn't expect
he
you
was
to flat out say it.
It was an
It
8
wasn't
out of 10
vibrating,
water.
it was thumping.
Thumping. Sorry.
I'm humping. That's what they call me. Sorry.
That's a
I'm
child
sorry.
that says that line. I
There
just
was
wanna
a
remind you.
water scene, water puddle thing that was just the right amount of reflective, 8 out of 10.
Just the right amount of reflective.
It wasn't too mirrory. It was nice.
But yeah, we go into Bambi.
Bambi and beta male.
Yes, we go into Bambi like having a little dream sequence and going into, I'm assuming their sex spot that was gonna happen. I don't know. It like has the weird like cave thing that they go into. But as she goes in and then he's about to go in, he gets like halfway through and then it goes. Actually not one of mine. My most favorite transition in this movie where it goes from
It was
clouds
really good.
to like they stayed fine, but everything else like wibbles and melts
Yeah, it like
into
glitches out.
So like the forest, rocky,
into the forest.
dark
Yeah,
section.
and it's just this guy again, which happens in like dear life. It's like, hey, we're gonna be mates, girl, and then another guy coming up. It's like, not if I have, not me if I have something to say.
They were super muscular in that scene when they were fighting. Like they were like.
So again,
They were big and like strong.
I commented about the lighting in this because I really like the lighting. It's cool. I like
gorgeous.
I like the abstract of it, but at the same time, watching the fight happening and then eventually it's kind of like watching the cups get mixed up. You don't know who is who. You don't know who is winning.
And I feel like that's the point.
I bet you that's the exact point. It's one of my favorite things. It's just sitting there. It's like, okay, you see the eye colors and everything, and then they go from like just red eyes or like brown eyes, and they're just fighting. Yeah. And you can't. Again, they're both like muscular, so that you can't tell.
It's like silhouettes almost.
It's just nature taking its course.
People are getting thrown around. They're getting thrown around. They're getting like fallen, getting stomped on. You don't know who's winning. You don't know who's happening. And then Falling just sitting there just saying Bambi. You don't know who Bambi is right now. Like. And
then he literally kills him.
Doesn't kill him. He just throws him off a cliff.
Yes. And then there was water right underneath that. 6 out of 10. And it didn't. It's because it didn't look like water.
Well, yeah, because it was just like ground and then all of a sudden it's splashing. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that was weird. The same thing happened in the next sequence when they're walking through the forest with the sex song.
The sex song with just like very odd lyrics to this one. I think the melody is beautiful and the lyrics are kind of basic.
Yeah, there was a water thing in there. Also 6 out of 10 didn't look like water. It was just the same thing where it was just like splash. I was like, there wasn't water there. Like it didn't look like it.
I like the silhouette after Bambi wins of the dad in the beginning, where he's standing on top of the cliff and there's like that sun behind him.
Hell yeah.
That was a cool thing for me.
And then
this is when we have the amazing like springtime when things are growing and they're going through the meadows and all the like they're kicking around the flower buds and it's all the animals are finding their sex spot.
Yeah, I didn't write about any of that.
Yeah, they're all going. It's the
I know what you're talking about. I just didn't have any notes on it.
Out of all songs, this is my least favorite song, but I know the song. The one where they're. What's the song? What did they say?
It's just like I sing you a song.
I sing, yeah, something, yeah.
Yeah.
I sing you a song. Yeah, okay, now I know where we are. But that's just part just cool to me. I like how abstract this movie can get for being so realistic.
Yes.
I know that's a weird sentence to say, but that's how I describe this movie. It's so abstract, it's realistic, all at the same time.
Bit of both.
Yeah, I love it how
knows
it just
what of each to include.
yeah, and I think it melds it to where it's not just fully in abstract or fully in realistic. It's like a good what's the word? Homogeneous? Is that the right word? Mixture of both.
Here, I'm gonna blow your mind with the word verisimilitudinous.
Who?
Yeah.
Never heard of her.
I'm not gonna define it. Look it up.
No, I don't know. I don't. You want to know where I'd be stuck? Spelling. But yeah, this part again. I just said it's wonderful. I just love the look of it. It's cute.
Yeah.
I also this is when we see them sleeping, and it's absolutely silent, and you just see Bambi like hearing something, but we don't hear a thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I keep saying this, but the silence in this movie knows where to put it, because every time something's happening, it's like it was scary for me to watch Bambi all of a sudden perk up looking. You can see his ears moving and then his head moving of like he hears something.
It's because like we have dogs do the same thing where like they'll just be like perked, and so we know
something's happening.
You know there's something happening.
That's
that
what's scary to me. It's like you're just seeing Bambi perk up and like get up and look around, not a sound, nothing. You don't hear anything. I'm like, this is scary. I don't like this. This is weird. What are you looking at, bud?
And then there's the part with the birds under the thing where he's like, don't fly, even if you get excited.
Well, yeah, but you forgot about the entire part of him seeing the
man
hunters,
camp.
the man camp.
I forgot about the man camp with the fire.
His dad all of a sudden appearing out of nowhere saying, that is man.
Oh yeah,
like,
and I said,
hey,
fuck man, part 2.
I said fuck man in this as well, but...
Do you guys know the AFI 100 Movies series?
Mm-mm.
They did like this, it's like, this was in like the 90s. It was like the 100 best movies of all times, the 100 best like songs in movies of all time, 100 best like movie stars and stuff. And one of them was 50 heroes, 50 villains, and Man is on that list.
What number is it?
I think he's like in the 20s.
Alright.
And he's the only villain on that list that you don't see. Which is
I did hear about this actually.
And he's like, he's such a threatening presence in this movie, even though you literally never see him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bird scene.
This is when the crows fly through everyone saying they're just doing crow noises, but it's implied that they're telling all the animals,
run.
Get your shit and run.
Yeah.
And then they show the dead, like the bird flies up, it shot, and I'm like, they're not gonna show it. Then it drops.
It is a traumatizing scene of watching this bird go through. They're coming. We need to run, and all their friends like, if you just stay calm and stay here, you'll be fine. And
Ignore your instincts. Don't go with nature.
I hate to bring it up, but it's very relevant. It was very much like a school shooting type thing where it's like, stay quiet, stay like it's that very much like traumatizing.
I mean, you're not wrong, but goddamn,
it's very relevant
Jesus.
in the.
I mean, I guess
situations. When it happened, that's what I thought of. I was like,
I was gonna say nothing I've been through, but I have when I was in 8th grade and their entire thing with the gun happened, where it was just like everyone stay in the room.
It's
and
like
be
stay
silent.
quiet, be quiet, like.
Woo, that awoken a memory in me that I didn't want.
I think that's why it's very like you get like
Trauma.
it's like something bad's happening. Like it's very traumatizing.
It
brings back memories
and also the actress is just like going for like she sounds like a life or death, which again in the movie it is, but like. It sounds scary, and then watching her fly up and then hearing the gunshots, like, oh, she's fine, and then out of nowhere, feathers, body, and all the animals scatter, and you just see like the bullets hitting the ground trying to aim for all these animals.
There was a puddle, and it was a 7 out of 10.
There was a puddle.
I don't remember when, but there was a puddle.
There was a puddle in it.
And then he shoots Bambi, which I didn't know happened.
Yeah, the Bambi
I'm like, oh, it missed, and then I was like, oh, it hit him.
Yeah, they have the entire scene where Bambi's looking for his boo. She's looking for Bambi, and they're just running around, and then the dogs happen. The FNAF dog, I would like to call them now. It was just funny because I just watched the trailer, which I don't watch trailers. I just finally caved in, and they had the black eyes with the white pupils, and one specific dog had black eyes and white pupils, and I was like, FNAF dog, and that was what I wrote down as ha.
You also said it.
Yeah, it was because it was funny. I was looking at it and I was like, why does it look like an animatronic? And I'm dumb, but yeah, that entire fight scene happens, and he's getting away, and yeah, he jumps over the cliff and gets shot. And then it kind of just cuts to men being stupid, and they left their campfire on.
Man,
Man, we left the oven on.
you silly man.
And then burns down the entire forest.
And then for the sequence, there was a part where it was like falling to the river. 8 out of 10, it looked really good in the reflection of the fire on the trees against the water. It was the yellowy, embery color. It looked really good.
I don't know what this was for or what specific part, but I just said I love that Disney knows how to make a score, which I think was in the fire part. I don't know why. I think
so.
The music just very well captured what was happening, why it was happening. It does that a lot with everything.
And then there's the moles during the fire sequence, and they bonk heads, and I just said, me and Trevor are the moles. They just go and hey.
I think this is my last lighting one. They have the fire scene where it's brighter than all the other ones they've done, but now they still have the orange glow on their back from the fire, which is terrifying.
Yes.
Crazy that the fire in this movie is it's not orange, it is red.
Red. It is demon fire.
It is, and it's the opposite of green, which we've seen so much in this movie.
Yeah.
It is a contrast of this. There's this TikTok person I watch where they get frames from the entire movie, and they post it in these really short, the frame's that big. I know you guys can't hear me. Very tiny,
They have the posters of them.
Yeah, and it's
where
a poster where
it's the entire movie, but it's each frame is just a color.
It's a color, and it shows the entire process of the movie from start to finish. And one of my favorite things is Bambi is it's green, and then just demon red, and then green. And it's a whole bunch of different shades of green. There's some blues in there and stuff, but it's lighter colors, and then the ending half is just red and
dark
grays and grossness, and then the ending of it is bright pinks and stuff and greens. But I want that thing. I haven't bought it yet. It's still on my wish list, but it's just really cool to me. I like that idea of pretty much a frame from every movie, a frame from the entire movie into a poster, and it's super
That's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah, I'll need to show you, Xander. They're really cool.
Yeah, we'll look that up after. And then the new children. We come back around, and then there's new babies. Everyone has babies now.
Sterling Holloway sighting. Winnie the Pooh voice.
Yes.
As Adult Flower.
Adult Flower, yes. Which threw me off guard.
Yes. And I loved how he named his kid Baby.
Bambi, yeah.
It was
so cute.
I was
It's
like,
so
aw. And then Trevor had a moment when we first see the Bambi children, and I think it bit his ear, and Trevor just went, "Oh."
Yes, the twin bit the other one's ear, and the other one was like, "What the fuck?" And I had an audible awe, because it was the cutest thing.
I think Xander just went, "Trevor."
Well, yes, it was adorable, but also Trevor's seen this movie so many fucking times.
I have my counter. Hold on.
You do have your counter.
After this one,
184.
Yeah, let's actually take a guess, guys.
184.
I will give you a guess. When I lived in my mother's house, the last time we watched it, which was when we had the burgers and stuff, it was 154.
Okay, so I'm gonna say 170.
170?
182. I'm sticking with 182.
182. Final answer?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
200.
Oh my god.
I win.
234.
How do you have the time to watch other things?
This is 235. This is the 235th time that I started counting that I've watched this. This is not counting any of the younger time. I think
oh my god.
I started counting this in 8th grade. So that means
I still win Jeopardy rules.
Yes.
Jeopardy rules, yeah.
Yep, you win.
I don't know, you win.
Jeopardy rules? Price is Right rules?
Price is Right.
That's what I meant.
I agreed with you, but that's probably because it's at night.
It's low noon.
It's 12:30.
It's low
Oh my
noon.
God.
Yeah, I don't. This hour is gonna be the podcast. This podcast is gonna be like 2 hours long.
That's okay. I mean,
we knew this.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. It's just
there's some that are gonna be super short and some that are gonna be quite long because we got a lot to say.
I was literally talking to you about this earlier.
I can't wait for
such a
like
range.
I can't wait for the one that's gonna be like a 20-minute episode because we're just like, yeah, this.
Oh, we're gonna
happened.
have
Strong
so
as
many
hell.
live action movies. Yeah.
That is just like
that was
we
a movie.
we talked about
it.
it in depth the last time we did this. Here's just what the live action did.
Well, because here's the problem with a lot of the live action
Second
movies.
time.
A lot of them are boring. A lot of them are going to be hard to make entertaining as.
It's because like
podcast episodes.
we already know the movie, but we also don't want them to change the movie.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, all right, it's just the same story, but now it's real. Type thing. It's some of them do add stuff and they're not very good.
Yeah, the live action remakes are just
Except for Evermore.
for what?
Evermore.
What is Evermore?
Oh, the
Beauty
song.
and the Beast.
Oh.
That's the only like new song they put into one of the movies that I love.
I've heard people hate on that song.
I like
okay- I'm
Evermore.
okay
I like
with
it. The Josh Groban version. Fantastic. But that's live action. We need to stop talking about these.
We could talk. Trevor, are you excited for the Bambi remake?
So actually I am, just because like I don't know if you guys watched the Lion King remake. I actually like the Lion King remake.
I do too, and I don't
Beyonce
like these
and
remakes.
Donald Glover.
Huh?
Beyonce and Donald
Well,
Glover.
yeah, and that's a
Like,
Here's the thing. I
Come
think
on.
they're both bad in it, but I think the original adult Mufasa.
Can You Feel the
and all
Love
are
Tonight
bad.
is so good with both of them like doing their like
Can you feel the love tonight?
they're both like doing this and I keep wanting to call him Childish Gambino because that's his artist name.
Yeah.
But Donald Glover is just
But
has such a good voice.
So Vada, whoa,
Wada?
whoa, ooh, Wada, Wada. Sorry, wow, it's so late, guys. But no, just anytime I think about the Bambi live action, because it's on my head constantly.
Where did Wada come from?
I don't know, Jake. It happened. Let's go past.
Keep going, Trevor.
But I think of the Bambi live action constantly. But what brings it back for me is that I'm like, when they did one that was just animals, no like humans in it, was just animals, which was even Jungle Book wasn't that bad.
I
honestly.
didn't like Jungle Book.
I thought it was okay, but still like Lion
Jungle
King.
Book's probably my favorite of the.
Mine's Lion King.
But still, the Lion King, they did that so well and still changed it to be like more modernized, but still kept the original story. Like they found the formula to like please new people watching it and old people that are coming back to
And then
see
immediately ditched that formula.
it. And then immediately ditched it. They said, "Wow, this worked." Anyways, pour it out. Try again.
Well, I think Lion King works because Lion King, the original, is a very well-made movie, and the remake is basically just shot for shot.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They still changed it in some ways.
A little
But,
bit.
like-
They added sequences that I like.
And that's the thing is like the same with like the people they got, which even though I didn't agree with some of them, it was still like
I love Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, and nothing will change my mind
Yeah.
about that.
out of all Seth
And
Rogen's
Nathan
things, it's
Lane?
really worked.
As
Nathan
Billy Eichner.
Lane.
So freaking good as Timon.
Yeah, Billy Eichner.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good. Those two together, like,
Funniest people I could ever wish for. I remember laughing so.
Them and Can You Feel the Love Tonight were they're just so funny. Who?
It's.
The
It is
ad libs
so-
are funny.
They know they've studied their parts. They were really funny together.
And we still have James Earl Jones as Mufasa, correct?
Mhm.
yes. Yeah.
Which I'm so glad they didn't like try to recast it as some other.
But that's
person.
what's like hopeful for me for the Bambi remake. Is just I saw that and I remember actually liking the Lion King remake. So I was like, maybe they'll go with that kind of vibe. I'm hoping they'll go with that kind of vibe, because like I hope they're not doing this thing where freaking Bambi's mama's girl boss or something. Like I'll cry. Like I don't
Or
want
like Flower's gonna be Aquafina or. No, it'd be Thumper. It'd be Thumper.
Oh, that was so funny.
Do we have any other notes on the movie?
I think I have one.
I don't have any more notes.
Let me check. It's my, I said it when we started. The Great Prince is literally an ancient being. How many children has he had?
How many
Like,
other princes are there?
If no one's lived to half of his age, he's gotta have had so many other princes. It can't be like he waited all this time to be like, alright,
What else
maybe
would that
I'll
make?
give in to the...
Maybe every time a prince dies, he's like, well, shit, I've got to make another one.
I think
now.
that's what, like, he's just like, because that's why Bambi's mom was so young, he's like,
Maybe
alright,
that's why
like,
he was so hard on, like, when Bambi gets shot, he's like, get up. Don't be a pussy. Get
yeah, he
up."
was like, I'm not losing this one, because I think it's...
I don't know.
Not another batch.
There's
Like,
another,
I can't do this again.
there's another theory for us, guys. It's just, how many children has the
Great
prince
Prince
had?
had.
I don't know.
Crazy.
So I guess we do our
The last
final-
thing I want to say, you can cut this out, but a lot of the time, what I only could think about was the D&D campaign and what happened
Okay.
in our Bambi section.
Okay, for context, so I run an RPG campaign called Dreamscape that is about Disney. It's like a meta commentary on Disney while also taking place within the Disney universe. But as a DM, I give a lot of freedom, and so one of our players, Charlie, at one point skewered Bambi's mother.
It was traumatizing for me.
Like, there was, like, the stampede. Like, all I can remember was when the stampede happened in...
Yes, there was
in the
like a
campaign.
stampede of animals.
And there was some stuff where I was like, oh, it's very... It reminded me a lot of it because we
Yeah.
just did that.
This probably won't be the last time that comes up. Speaking of which, real quick, Xander's Kingdom Hearts Corner.
I forgot about
Yes.
Bambi only appears in the series as a summon in Kingdom Hearts 1 and
Yes.
then brought back in Chain of Memories because everything from Kingdom Hearts 1 is brought back in Chain of Memories.
that.
He's probably the worst summon. He's only useful in the end game because he gets you certain synthesis items, but you can only get some of them. Like, the easiest way to get those items is just to go to the part which is in the end game. So yeah.
Yeah, we grinded that a lot when I played through it. It was like, time to do this again and
We
again.
should, like, go through that
Continue
again
number 2.
for this podcast. We should.
You guys can have like a little. I'll be here for support. I'll watch it with you guys. I don't like playing.
Watch the cutscenes at least.
That's what we did with Chain of Memories. We just
I'll do some
watched
studying for it. You guys can
cutscenes. We didn't
play.
watch any of the... We didn't play the
Yeah.
game.
I'm not a Kingdom Hearts person.
I liked it.
It's
We
my
just
favorite
haven't had
thing.
time.
We have not had the time.
Yeah.
Because we would play for like 7-8 hours straight.
I know there'd be times I was sitting out there with you guys and I was like, guys, I have to go to bed, and I would like wake up middle of the night and I'm like, they're still going. I hear them talking.
That's when I
I'm
was
like,
dropping out of school.
Those were the good days.
It was rent.
when he was dropping out of school.
I was dropping out of school, rent. I was calling out of work. That was when when school life was going down, but my social life was popping
It
up.
was going great.
Okay, so let's do our final 1 out of
yeah.
5.
Well, real quick, Jake, what did you think?
Oh yeah, huh? What final conclusions?
I thought it was pretty good. It's just not one that I would watch on the regular. Sorry, Trevor.
It's okay. I'll insert a gunshot and then just cancel your voice out anytime you speak.
It was just, I mean, it was a good movie. It just is not up there with among ones that I liked.
It's not your vibe.
Watch, yeah. It was just part of it is it doesn't have a story. It's just weird because I like cats, and cats doesn't have a story. But it was just I was like, it's deer doing deer things. They're animals.
That's what I like about the movie. I love how slice of life it is. I love that you are literally just watching a day in the life of this deer and you are watching him grow up. It's basically Boyhood, but animated.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think this is one of the great accomplishments of Disney. This ends that Big Five era where every animated movie they put out is like a masterpiece that is pushing all of the boundaries forward. Fantasia is my favorite movie. This is probably my second favorite Disney movie. Trevor.
I hate this movie. Never liked it once. No, but this movie has left such an impact on me from growing up. Like, I love this movie to death and beyond, to anything else. I can't think of anything else to say because my brain is shutting off slowly. But
It's so late.
I know it is so late. But it's just, I love this movie. It's so good. I like the not full, like, in-depth story of it. I can just sit there and enjoy a deer be deer, like they do. He do be and
He do endear things.
I do think part of this, there was a lot of times where I didn't take notes because I was just like, it's nice to be able to not like have to pay attention. You're just like,
It's
there's colors.
purely
it's-
a vibes movie.
That's one of, again, that's why I like this movie so much. Is half the time I watch movies, I'm looking at what it looks like, and this movie is all about what it looks like.
That's what it is for me. Like, more important than the story of a movie is the experience of a movie. And I think this is such an incredible experience when you take the realism of the animals mixed with those backgrounds, mixed with the slice of life thing. It's all comes together in such a perfect thing.
I love it.
All right.
That being said, how many racks of venison out of 5 would
Hold
you
on.
give?
No.
My water score.
Oh, you're
I
fine.
have a water score.
Do you have a final water score?
I do for
He usually
everyone
does,
as
yeah.
Okay.
well.
You do 1 out of
I
10.
don't know what I'm gonna. Yeah, I just do a 10. This one I think is gonna be among the highest ones. At I think an 8. I had a few 6s. I had
The
some
lowest
7s. I
you
had a
had
lot of
was a
8s.
5,
I did have one 5, but
I think.
I had a 10, which means that it was fantastic for whatever that was,
Mm-hmm.
which gives it a little more of a boost.
It was
So
the water reflecting with the
Mhm.
dribbles after
Yeah,
April
yeah,
showers. That was your 10 out of 10.
that is, I think, my favorite water shot so far that we've seen throughout any movie.
Hell yeah.
It was fantastic. So I'm giving this one I'm gonna give it an 8.3 out of 10.
Ooh.
Spicy.
8.3
Spicy
waters.
It makes me, I don't know, the water was just, it's about like, the movie's about seeing, like, oh,
Jake,
look how pretty it is.
You can admit you
So-
want to fuck the water. It's okay.
I want to fuck the water.
Um,
How many-
Venison racks.
How many
I don't
racks?
wanna
Out of 5?
We're doing venison
we not
racks.
do
Venison
venison
racks or
racks?
gunshots?
please,
Well, one.
as this being my favorite movie,
Okay.
can we not
Okay,
do
yes.
venison racks?
Fair enough, fair
Okay,
enough.
I
how
like-
many trophy heads of Bambi's mom?
No!
How many?
Shush.
Okay.
Shush. Both of you, shut up.
How many missed rounds?
Mr. I liked the gay birds. How many gay birds, okay?
How many gay
How many
How
little
many
gay-
Twitter patients?
How many 1 out of 5 Twitter pated? How many Twitter pated? I've been Twitter pated 5 times and more in this movie.
You have a 5 out of 5 Twitter pated?
When your boyfriend's around, you're getting Twitter pated.
Never during Bambi.
Very quickly, he's like,
There's
no.
a few. There is a few other Disney movies I could drop, but I'm not gonna do that.
So you're giving it a 5 out of 5 Twitter pated?
So many Twitter pateds.
I'm gonna give this a.
Careful what you say.
I know.
I have the gunshot effect ready.
I really don't really like this movie.
You really don't like this movie?
2.9 out of 5 Twitter pated.
There is no way this is the lowest you've done out of all 5 movies.
Wow.
I think so.
We should
Like Reluctant Dragon was, I think, I would watch that way many more times over.
You
this
were
movie.
spitting so much.
Fantasia.
I'm gonna slap you in the
Dumbo.
face. Where did this come from? You were like loving this movie. It had the best waters
Like,
for you.
In general,
You should at least-
the movie itself.
This movie has the best waters, but worst movie for you.
Like,
I think-
yes, I'm sticking to it.
round it to the nearest 0.5. It's a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
And like
It's
that's
a 3 out of
positive.
5.
That's positive.
I think that's what I rated Dumbo.
No,
Yeah.
you rated it a 3.5, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I did do a 3.5 peanuts. But yeah, I would watch Dumbo again over this. So I'm giving it a 3.
That hurts. That hurts me so much.
Now you know how I
sorry.
felt on Fantasia, Trevor.
What is your opinion? Help.
Oh, it's a 5 out of 5 for
Oh,
me.
thank God. Have we been keeping track of these?
We should.
Xander, your job.
Yes.
Right.
I will keep
My
track from
laptop's
now
dead,
on.
but I will.
Yes.
But can you please go back and water score and end scores?
Yes, I can absolutely.
And then from here on out, I'll
Because
track
I'm
water
just
scores,
thinking
but
about this. We have like 800 movies to get through.
Do we want to rank them?
At the end, we'll have like our top 10 or top 15.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be in a few years. You guys.
In a few years,
are,
we'll
are you
have
guys
like our lowest, like low 20 and top 20.
Are
Yeah,
you guys
like that?
It's you listeners? Are you
Committed.
committed? Can you
You have those
also crack
notifications
the
on?
vault?
And crack the vault with us?
Vault crackers, fellow vault crackers.
Ooh,
Never
that's
miss a
not
crack
what we're
session.
call them. We're not gonna call them the
Crack
vault
buddies.
Oh, how'd you make it worse?
No, No, I think that's it. I think
Crack
that's
buddies? Is our community
let's-
going to be called Crack Buddies?
Yeah.
And we get cracking.
Hey, crackheads, how we doing?
Oh my god. I've been outvoted twice in this.
Crackheads.
Sorry guys, I guess you're the crackheads in
Crack
this.
buddies and crackheads.
Hey crack buddies and hey crack
It's
dudes and
gender
crack dudettes.
inclusive. Just crack buddies. Not like crack dudes.
Okay,
We're good here.
I'm glad it's inclusive. We're still calling everyone that listens to this crackheads.
Crackheads.
Yes.
Crack buddies and crackheads.
I think this is great. I think
Sorry, Trevor.
look, let's be real. It fits the vibe of this show.
It does. That's the part that I'm
What
trying.
time is it?
I'm trying to find
Wada?
Wada. I'm trying
to
to find a way to just cancel.
the
I can't
podcast.
feel this.
Bye. Play the music, Trevor. Play it.
Okay, and as always, see you next time.
Thanks for
crackheads.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, crackheads.
To my favorite
Crack
movie
buddies.
that I'm now sad about all of a sudden.
Sorry, Trevor. Goodbye.
What?